test in Birmingham till the last test in London. So actually I can't review the entire video which is available on live streams or even the highlights because I'm a student. I'm actually studying, so I don't have that much of time, but I've watched the match in stat forms. Sometimes I watched it for 1 hour and half hours. Necessity of the moment, we can't review the entire highlight or entire match. We are only going to review the stats. Stats tells you the real story behind the match. So the first test match, player of the match awarded to Khawaja. As usual, the Australia won the match, and so Ben Stokes won the toss and chose to bat first. And England openers came into the stand as usual, Ben Duckett and Jack Crawley. In the fourth over, I think Hazelwood took Duckett. Then they have a stand of I think 50 plus runs between Oli Pope and Jack Crawley. Jack Crawley is really playing well. He's striking the ball at a very constant strike rate, rotating the strike and putting pressure back on the Australian bowlers. Then Lyon took Oli Pope and then LBW. Then came Joe Root, the man of the year. This man is actually performing at a next level in Test cricket, especially I will say. He's performing in every continent wherever he is given the chances. He performed in England, he performed in Australia, he's performed in New Zealand. In everywhere he's performing in Test matches. He invented himself. He rediscovered himself in Test cricket. Like he was hitting fasters who's bowling fourth or fifth stump ball to reverse sweep for a six. He did that for Shardul Thakur and many bowlers in international arena. Like he is leading the way of Bazzball, the term included in international arena, just because of Brendan McCullum and Stokes captainship. He played a very good inning with a strike rate of 77. He scored 118 runs with 11 boundaries, 7-4 and 4 sixes. He was not out. England played for more than 78 overs, I think 2 sessions and 1 session half, and then came a very doubtful declaration. Look, the results are the points. That's why we are actually calling that decision is doubtful, because when the day is going to end, you have left with 5 or 6. They only got 4 overs to bowl on the last day, and whatever, I don't know, Ben Stokes is thinking, he may be thinking of getting 5 or 6 overs. But one thing I want to make it very clear, on a batting surface where you are batting really well, you scored a lot of runs. In 78 overs they scored 393 runs. I'm not going to say this surface is very easy to bat, but the way England batted, they deserve that score. But if you want to give the opponent, if you want to take a chance to get out the opponent, you need to at least give your bowler 10 or 12 or 15 overs at least. There is no thinking in giving their bowler 6 or 5 overs. But it's just an opinion. Maybe they have taken 2 or 3 wickets. The match will turn around on that evening. But that didn't happen. They didn't give any wicket on that day. And then moving forward, Root is batting really well. He's batting at 118. If he has given 10 or 12 overs more, he would have make this 393 score look like a 450 or 470, and 450 and 390. There's a very different score. There is a saying that score can't put pressure on the players, but it's not just a saying, it's a fact. If you cross a 300 mark in an ODI match, it doesn't matter how good a surface is. The chasing team is always under pressure. The same way it works in Test cricket also. If you put 400 mark on a board, the chasing team is always going to look into under pressure. Because it's the board that make fun with the mindset of a player. Australian bowling in the first inning, Nathan Lyon and Hazelwood did a very good job. When everyone is getting hit for every ball, then Pat Cummins and Hazelwood actually bowled really well. The economies are 4.20 and 4.10. Hazelwood grabbed 2 wickets also, and on the same hand, Lyon was also bowled. He bowled also a pretty decent bowling. He was striked by every batsman. It's not like he's troubling someone, but he got 4 wickets. So appreciation to this Nathan Lyon. Then came the England first inning, Australian first inning. Here the game started. For 4 over there from the first day, they didn't given a single wicket to the England team. But then, as usual, the meme structure, Broad got corner, and then Khawaja played a old style test match inning. Just opposite to the entire arena, which is finding a new way of playing test cricket. I've been watching test cricket from last 5 or 6 years, thoroughly. Before 5 years, I was watching test cricket like from 7 years on the stat basis, and I think test cricket is more than 140 years old, and I've never seen someone approaching test cricket like this. Whatever England is thinking in the dressing room, whatever the way they want to approach test cricket is completely different. This way of playing test cricket will, I don't know what will be the side they are going to show in future, but this is a really very different way of approaching test cricket. But on the same time, on the opposite time, Australia is playing the authentic test way. They are playing the authentic way of test cricket. As you can see, Khawaja took 321 balls to score 141 runs. He didn't score just a century. He scored a big century. He scored 40 more runs than century. The difference between big players and decent players is whenever they are going to cross a mark of major score, they always try to make it a big score. Like Khawaja in this match scored 140. Those extra 40 runs are always going to help in the winning situation. Then Labuschagne, unlucky Labuschagne got at 0. Smith was really holding the crease, but he got away. Stokes took him. Then come the man who is striking with the ball very well in Australian team. Whatever from last 3 or 4 months, I will say, or last 3 or 4 series, whatever Australia do good in test match, there is a contribution of Travis Head in that. He's playing in the entire England team. He came out. He struck the ball from the very first ball. Look at the strike rate in this match. He scored 50 runs in 63 balls at a strike rate of almost 80. Almost 80. He scored 9 boundaries in this inning. But Moeen Ali got him. Then came Cameron Green. He also batted well, but Moeen Ali took him. The man came from the retirement, took him. Then Alex Carey. Alex Carey also played really well, man. This man is also showing potential. When this guy came into the international arena, it doesn't look like he's going to be one of the major stars as a wicket keeper, but he keeps improving. And I want to find the swimming pool in which he's fallen. I want to just drag every Indian player and throw him in that pool. God bless the pool, man. The moment he was fallen in that pool, he's scoring runs from that moment ever since. Cummins batted like a captain. He scored 3 boundaries. Now all are sixes. When it came to the first inning England bowling lineup, Moeen Ali bowls the most number of balls, as usual, at off spinner. The bright side of this bowling attack is if you leave Harry Brook is not a bowler, he's a part-timer, so he has given 3 overs. His economy will not be counted, at least. Root bowled, he also bowled 7 overs, so I'm not, but 7 overs are significant overs. He given 15 runs only to the best economy of this match, despite Harry Brook. Then Broad, Robinson and Anderson, they bowled really well. They have a very decent economy. They bowled big spells and keep the strike on the Australian team. And Broad got 3 wickets, Robinson got 3 wickets, and Moeen got 2 wickets. Anderson didn't get the wicket, but he bowled really well. Really. His spells are very magnificent. And then came England in the second inning. And then, as usual, the opening strike by Jack Crawley and Duckett came to the crease. Duckett was taken by Cummins this time into the hands of Cameron Green. And they batted really well. Root scored 46, Harry Brook scored 46, Stokes scored 46, but they only able to score 273. And this 273 is the reason why they have lose the match. Root, if you have scored 50-70 more runs on the first inning, you will be going to recover from this situation. You're always going. There is a confidence in the scorecard. Then the bowlers are going to try a little more. to take the wickets. That's why I've told you that decision of declaring is very doubtful. Very, very doubtful. They are all out for 273. Australia all need a 281 target to win. Then came the Australian second inning. Usman Khawaja again scored a very good test inning at a strike rate of 33 almost. While taking 197 ball, he scored 65 runs with 7 boundaries. Warner also given a very good opening partnership with more than 50 runs. But this time Robinson got Warner. Sorry, Broad. And after that, Labuschagne also not able to make the mark. Steven Smith also. Then Scott Boland came as a night watchman. He scored more runs than combinedly more runs than Labuschagne and Steve Smith, and played more ball than Steve Smith and Marnus Labuschagne combinedly. Just joking. Then Travis had Cameron Screen not able to score much. And then Alex Carey also, caught and bowled by the root. That wicket was very special. And on that moment, it looked like Australians are 50-60 runs away from the win, and they have 5 or 6, I think 6 or 7 down. Then came Pat Cummins, and then Pat Cummins and Nathan Lyon started batting. My God. At 227, they are 8. Alex Carey just got out. From 227, they got into 282. They scored more than 50 runs with a partnership from 9th wicket, Pat Cummins and Nathan Lyon. Pat Cummins is a real man. That is a character of a hull. He's a bowler who bowls 22, he bowls how many overs? He bowls 18 overs in the second inning. He bowls 14 overs in the first inning. He batted for how many balls? Let me see. 62 balls, more than 10 overs in the first inning, and then he came in the second inning. He scored. He also played more than 10 overs and he scored 44 most beautiful finishing runs of this year. 44 in 73 ball, and then Nathan Lyon strikes of 16 runs. Those 2 boundaries which came from Nathan Lyon bat. I remember a match when Nathan Lyon was scoring good runs against India. It looked like this man is going to take away the match from India, but India cracked down the code. But in this match also, he given a chance to Stokes, but that is a very difficult chance. It was Stokes who came to the ball nearby, otherwise someone else would be watching the ball and indicating the umpire that this is a boundary. Sorry, we can't do anything. But tragedy came to that. Pat Cummins been one of the memorable matches of his career because he strike the winning runs. I remember the moment when Ben Stokes hit the Headingley winning runs from his bat. It was Pat Cummins who is bowling. This time it was Pat Cummins who won a nail-biting first test match by scoring a match-winning knock of 44. And in the press, they remembered him of the Headingley test, and he laughed away. Pat Cummins.